Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stogie Review video review. To continue with that bargain cigar reviews that I've been doing, I've got the Padron Londres. It's Padron's value line cigar, and this cigar happens to be 5.5 by 42 square press. Now I did some looking around and I found these at TNT Cigars for $49.95 for a box of 25 cigars. Their shipping rate is $5 even for the first item. So that brings you to a grand total of $54.95 for 25 cigars. And you divide that out, you get roughly $2.20 per single, which is quite a bit lower than the 1000 series, the 2000, 3000, 4000 all series Padrones. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my cigar with my polio cutter. As always, just real quick. A nice clean cut, and be ready to get started. Before I light the cigar, let's go over some characteristics. It's slightly dry looking. There is a very, very light sheen to it. It's a little rugged, a little rougher than a typical Padron. There's some fairly heavy veins, but for the most part, it looks pretty solid. It's pretty firm with very light spring. The wrapper feels pretty good. Doesn't feel like I'm going to crack it or anything. So far, everything's going real well. I'll go ahead and toast it. Sometimes it takes a little while to get everything nice and even. Now the draw is pretty stiff, so I'm having a little bit of trouble getting everything lit evenly. Now the initial burn, it's not real great. It's a little uneven. The body's pretty, it's pretty mild. I would say mild to medium, around there somewhere. Flavor profile, there's not really anything there just as of yet. Finish is slightly dry. It's relatively short. Nothing that strikes me right away. I'm really not liking that stiff draw. So I'm going to take a few minutes, see if the draw loosens up a little bit. If not, I've got a tool that I can use to take care of that. So be back in a few minutes and we'll continue then. Oh, here we are again. It hasn't been long at all. 2, maybe 3 minutes, and I'm finding it difficult to draw just because the small ring gauge and the square press makes for an odd size, and that stiffness it's just kind of awkward. The flavor's great though. It's kind of surprising because for this price tag I would assume that it was just kind of like a bottom of the barrel Padron, but it really gives you that Padron flavor and just richness. It's a very good smoke. But anyway, I'm having some problems with the draw, and what I do have to try to fix that is this handy little tool. This is actually it's called the Henry's Draw Correction Tool. What it is it's pretty much just a wire with a nice wooden handle, and it's got a chisel tip, and it's hard to see. Probably can't see it, but there's markings every inch to show you just how far you're going into the cigar, and these come in 2 sets. This is the small tool for small ring gauge cigars. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to begin sliding this in, and by the way, I should have done this before I lit the cigar, but in my haste I forgot to check the draw. And all I'm going to do is just kind of slide this poker in there and give it a little bit of a twist and slowly work it into the cigar. Now, this is much harder than it looks. You really need to be careful that you don't spear the side of the cigar by guiding in the wire crooked. And I haven't mastered this by any means, so I only take it in, maybe an inch or two, pull it back out, try again, and if I feel like it's walking towards the wall of the cigar, or towards the binder or the wrapper, however you may want to call it, or describe it, I pull it back out and I stop. And I've never been able to get all the way through the cigar yet, but that's just inexperience. And what that's done is it's made a hole that kind of runs through the cigar that helps draw, loosens things up. Now, the draw is still kind of stiff. I haven't gone in far enough, but it is much better. So I'm going to continue to play with this, and I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll continue to smoke. Well, here we are again. Hasn't been too much time. As you can see, the ash is nice and light. Burns evened up quite a bit, and I was able to loosen up the draw quite a bit with my cigar tools. And as I mentioned before, they come in two different sizes. There's the long and the short, and they come in a plastic tube just to keep you from accidentally stabbing yourself. So I've only had these a couple of weeks, and I think they're great. I've only had to use them, maybe 2 or 3 times, but they really come in handy. And the fact that they're handmade is even better. Being a woodworker most of my life, I really appreciate handmade tools and just handmade things. And the handles are beautiful, and I just think it's really nice craftsmanship. If you're interested in picking up a set of these, send me an email, and I'll get you in contact with the person you can purchase them from. I think they're like $11 for the set of 2, and a couple bucks for shipping. So, really inexpensive, and they work better than a 16-penny nail if you're trying to stuff that in the end. But that nice stocking stuffer for if you're interested in something like that. But back to the cigar. You can see the ash dropped, and it held pretty good. I was kind of surprised for such a small cigar, or a small ring gauge and a square press. I thought that would have fell a few minutes ago. The draw still a little stiff, but it's smoking very well. It's producing a decent amount of smoke. It's a nice, rich, earthy smoke. It's very enjoyable. It's just like the Padron 1000 series. You're not losing out just because it's a bargain level cigar. The body is about medium, and the finish is beginning to get creamier. That dryness went away. It's getting really nice and creamy, and it's still fairly short on the palate. So I'm going to continue to smoke a little bit longer, and then I'll get back with you at the halfway point. We'll go from there. Here we are again. As you can see, we're about halfway, and it's very consistent. There hasn't been a whole lot of change. It seems to be getting richer and creamier. But that's it. There's nothing, there's nothing major going on. It's very consistent, very smooth. It's very creamy. It's just a very good cigar. I know I sound like a broken record, but you're really getting Padron flavor for a bargain price, and I'm really impressed with this cigar. This is like maybe the 3rd or 4th one I've had, and I'm just really enjoying it. I am starting to feel really light spice. It's just starting, nothing major just yet. the ones I've had in the past, that sort of build a little bit, so I'm really looking forward to that. I should have that in a few minutes. So, anyway, not a whole lot to say in terms of the cigar, but some more information on the bargain reviews. I did find a Gisbert Toro Maduro locally. It was $3.25. That puts it above the bargain price ceiling that I set at $3, but I'm sure I can get them online much cheaper than that, so I will do the review on that cigar. I got the Montesino Maduro No. 2s just recently. I'll probably have one of them maybe next week after it acclimates in my humidor a little bit. I've got quite a few Pirates Gold. They're made by Rolando Reyes. They're very inexpensive. I haven't had any of those yet, but I got them for a very good price on Cigar Bid. So let's hope I like them. Otherwise, I probably got between 30 and 40 cigars that I'm going to be shipping out. Just to anyone that wants them, more or less. But that's all I got for you at the moment. The draw is still good. It's producing more smoke than it was before, and the draw is a little bit better. I'm probably getting more into that hole that I made with the correction tool. So there's really not much to say outside of that. So I'll be back in maybe 15-20 minutes, and we'll cover the last portions of the cigar. Well, here we are, and as you can see, it's about time to wrap things up. This is another cigar that's very consistent. It's very smooth and enjoyable, and it makes it kind of tough to do a review on it because there's not a whole lot to say about it. So, with that in mind, as I mentioned before, it's $2.20 after shipping if you purchase it from TNT Cigars. For that price, I think it's a very good cigar. For its size, it burns very slow. A cigar of this size, I was really expecting it to go really quick and be a real short smoke, but it's burned very well, and it's lasted quite a while. The ash went from pretty light to fairly dark. That really doesn't affect the taste any. It was just one of the things I happened to notice as I was smoking. It seemed the further I smoked into the cigar, the more rich and creamy it was. It's just been very enjoyable. It's got a very rich, earthy flavor to it that I really appreciate. That spice that I mentioned earlier built somewhat. It's not heavy. It's not a heavy spice. It's just a nice backdrop. It's nice and enjoyable. The finish is a little longer. It's still relatively short. It's very smooth, as I mentioned, and the body is medium to full. So, all in all, I think this is a very good cigar, and I think I finally found one to compete with the famous Nicaraguan 3000s. I'll definitely be picking up a box of these to enjoy in the future, and I'd recommend you do the same, especially for the price. So that's about all I have. I'm gonna continue to smoke. I got at least another 15-20 minutes out of this. I like to burn my fingers with them. I really don't want to put it down. So, thanks for watching. As I mentioned before, if you happen to want to get a set of those cigar tools, just shoot me an email and I'll get you in touch with the guy I bought mine from. And that's Walt at StogieReview.com. And as I mentioned, coming up, I've got some more bargain cigar reviews. I can't remember offhand what they were, but I mentioned them earlier. So. And it's time lapsed on the camera, so it hasn't been 40 minutes or so for you. So that's about it. I don't have anything more for you. Thanks for watching, and definitely keep an eye out for one of these if you happen to see one in a local shop. Thanks for watching, guys.